Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday, August 19th. We've got to talk about these charts. We got some setups brewing. There's some chop up, there's some chop down. It's going sideways. Are we about to enter that zone where it's absolute carnage to the downside, or is a pump brewing? There's going to be some very tradable events between then and but whether we push to the upside or break to the downside. We're going to be going over those charts. We got Crypto Danks going to be coming on the show here in a little bit as well. We're going to be talking about these trade setups. We're going to be talking about what's going on. What should we be doing? What should we be looking at? I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'll be telling you a little bit about what I did this weekend as well. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and a good start to your week, because it is a good day for a good day. Everybody, let's get into this. Throw a 1 in chat if you're ready to roll. If you're ready to dive into these charts, let's get active. Hit that like button. Let's go. Good morning, good Monday morning. How you doing? My name is Kelly Kellum. Welcome to the BitLab Academy daily stream. We got to talk about what's going on in these markets. Welcome to the BitLab Academy, where we bring you meaningful tools, contents, resources, and an empowering community. I spent some time with family over the last 3 or 4 days. I still have a lot of family in town. I unfortunately had a beautiful cousin who passed last week. Basically lost a battle with brain cancer, and she lived about almost 2 years longer than what the doctors would have said. So we feel blessed that we had that extra time, and very honored that so many of our family from around the world flew in. We got to spend the last few days together. I'm quite exhausted I feel like it's been like the Kellum Family Festival, but celebrating life. You know, of course you need to mourn, but celebrating the life of those when you do lose them. But we got to get into this. Big love to each and every one of you that are here. We got to talk about what's going on in these markets, because these markets never sleep. And what we're seeing right now is this price action faking out to the upside, faking out to the downside, coming back within this range. We're almost basically trading sideways now, waiting for, is that next leg up about to pop, or is it about to break down? But we got a beautiful range right in here that is very tradable if you're using healthy risk management, healthy stop losses, but also understanding that this market can flip on a dime. But we've got some really incredible charts we've got to look at today. We're still sitting here over $2 trillion. Bitcoin's at 1.15 trillion. Ethereum still sitting over that $300 billion mark. And we're also seeing BNB also looking good on the charts. BNB is looking great. And a lot of movement. You know, some of these coins holding steady, some moving up, some moving down. Everything is waiting for that signal for the markets to absolutely rip. So let's talk about it. What's going on? Should we be scared right now? Well, the question is, what are the whales doing? Well, Bitcoin whales, specifically wallets that hold between 100 and 1,000 Bitcoin, have accumulated 94.7 thousand, not dollars worth, but 94.7 thousand Bitcoin, more Bitcoin in the last 6 weeks. As price certainly has shaken many traders out of the market, key stakeholders, key holders are loading up. This is what we're seeing. We also see Galaxy over here buying $23 million worth of Bitcoin in the last, very in the near term. We're seeing this hefty buy, tracked by Arkham Intelligence, bumps their total holdings to over 3.15 thousand Bitcoin. This is while everybody's looking at this going, why isn't it moving up? And we're seeing big holders out there stacking into these positions. So we got to talk about it. We got to see what is going on in this market. So let's close this. Let's close this and come right here. Right now, over 80% of Bitcoin short-term holders are underwater, meaning they bought and the prices moved down. This could be something, especially in the near term, that we need to pay attention to for a potential small capitulation event, meaning their coins were acquired at a higher price above the current price that we're seeing on the chart in the market. This is similar to 2018 and 2019 and mid 2021, which signaled many investors were at risk of panicking, precipitating a bearish trend. We have been chopping sideways. It feels like forever now. If we look at this, we are doing this now. Actually, let's come down to the daily, zoom in here. I'm going to move this out just like this, and we're going to move this out. Where are we at today? Let's see. Are we on right here? Yeah. So we are sitting here now at 122 days, And what have we been waiting on, everybody? We've been waiting on this box that I just basically drug down in here. This range is where I'm thinking we will likely get the bigger move. Shout out Morel Crawford in the house. He's going to be doing some really fun things with us in the Discord, and also with what we're doing with CoinW and the trading stuff that we're just about to roll out. I can't wait to do it. So shout out to Morel, and shout out to everybody that's here on a daily basis. I love you all. And if this is your first time, welcome to the show. Welcome to the community, I should say. We're waiting for this 160-ish range, right? That's what we've seen post halving the last two cycles, is a sideways, frustrating market. And if you can hold through this, if you're a longer term holder, even if I'm not even saying 5 years, if you're trying to hold till a market cycle top, then none of this should frustrate you. We should be looking at the opportunities each time these dips are coming in. But when we zoom in and we get down here on the 4 hour or the 2 hour, we can see, double click here, we're trading within this range. And I have two trend lines from these tops here, for which are holding support right now. But then also these more recent tops here, we have a bit of a range right now. And this is not a small, I mean, it's small if you zoomed out, but on this smaller trading, this is a very tradable area. 2%. Once we clear this $60,200 mark, this is when we start seeing price action get pushed to the upside. So let's not be frustrated right now that the market is trading sideways. It's still providing opportunity. This means the market has not yet run away from you. So let's be happy about, let's be excited about this, knowing that we do have some data here suggesting that we could get a little bit of pressure on the market to the downside. It's going to be near term, because we just showed you, I think 2 weeks ago, we had like $23 billion worth of Bitcoin that's been scooped up at this consolidation range that we're at. We also just saw Galaxy Digital just bought $23 million more worth of Bitcoin. We also see the whales with 100 to 1,000 Bitcoin have bought 97,000 Bitcoin. I mean, there's nothing to be worried about right now, in my opinion. When we continue on here, we can see the fear and greed at the same level as when Bitcoin was below 30,000. And we're scared right here. We can see when this drops, when this metric right here, when this drops, this is basically that number. You see 0 to 100, the fear and greed. When this comes down, this is proved to be a great buy opportunity. When this gets low, this is back here when this is the FTX collapse right in here. Look how low this got. This was hovering here for some time until we got that final capitulation, but then great buy opportunity. This dipped down low again, great buy opportunity. Dipped down low again, great buy opportunity. This didn't even get that low, great buy opportunity. And look how low we are. This is the last time we were here. The price was so much lower. Yet we are stair-stepping to the upside. This is what we want to see. Now, everybody, as you roll in the room, hit that like button. Show some love early in the stream. Let YouTube know you like crypto content. Unbiased looks at the market with meaningful tools, resources, and community. That's what this is all about, because we're about to do some TA. We're going to be opening up CoinW. We're going to be looking at some trade setups. We got Crypto Danks coming on here in a few minutes, but we got a couple more things we want to go over. Again, shout out to all the people that we had the giveaways the last 2 weeks. I love giving back to everybody, and I love all of you that are participating. I do want to say this stream, this channel is powered by Arculus. If you want to protect your crypto, you want to protect your future, head over to getarculus.com. Use code LAB10, LAB10. Not only helps make sure you can protect your crypto and your future, it also helps support the channel. These are our channel partners, so check them out. It's my favorite crypto cold storage solution out there, getarculus.com. Now, continuing on, we got some other things we want to look at. Right in here, when we're looking at this zoomed out, it's a very similar setup. Of course, the structures are slightly different, and these things will change and adapt over time. But what we're seeing is this breakout of this, basically this capitulation event, and then the breakout here of this zone. We had this massive world catastrophic global economic shutdown, but that tested this range and continued up. What we're seeing right here, we've broken out of this, so we're having this consolidation quite a bit higher. It's kind of similar to what we're seeing here. The move before the move. This is where we're at right now, because you can see the price action in conjunction with what's happening with the RSI down here. We see what's happening. It's coming down to test this range before liftoff. Came down to test this range. Exactly what we want to see. Now, moving on here, we can also see the long-term holder sell-side risk ratio remains lower than during previous all-time high breaks, indicating that the long-term holder cohort, that strength in the market, is taking smaller profits compared to past cycles. So yes, some people take some profits, but this ratio is showing that there's more confidence in higher prices than there is fear of lower prices. This suggests they may be waiting for higher prices before increasing their selling pressure. This is what we want to see. The setup is here, everybody. Continuing on, what else do we see? Some of the largest Ethereum whales, this is that near-term pressure we were just talking about. Some of the larger Ethereum whales, basically holding over 10,000 ETH, have been steadily selling over the past month. This would explain when we're looking at this market. And we look at this, let's throw it on the 3-day chart. Ethereum has had quite a bit of a sell-off, came all the way down to 2120, and now we're sitting here fighting right at the weekly VWAP, which is right here about $2,600. Once we can clear this range, this is essentially the gateway to higher prices. This is $2,800 to $2,900, with price not only pushing up and then coming back, pulling the VWAP up with it, testing that and continuing on. This is going to be that signal that that move is about to come. Now, in the near term, this is on the 3-day chart. In the near term, if we look at this on the 2-hour chart, we see that the money flow did come positive, but it's flipping gray, which means it's neutral in terms of money either coming in or coming out. There's not much. Everybody's kind of waiting on what direction Bitcoin's going to break because it's been in this consolidation range. And we're going to get deeper into this in a few minutes with Crypto Danks, looking at these charts, looking at these setups. So stay with us here and just realize that this is very similar to what we saw on Bitcoin in this period, this time period right here, where we saw the speculation pump into the ETF, the sell-off afterwards. When we look at this on Ethereum, okay, we had the speculation push into the ETF. We've had the sell-off. It's on the 2-hour chart. We've had the sell-off, and it's been a few days longer, and that's just because this also has to wait on that risk narrative for what's happening with the markets. Now, on the broader picture, things are looking excellent because when we look at Bitcoin and the dollar, this is giving us the signal about where risk is being put in markets or taken out of markets. We are right here, which is basically a similar analog to what we saw right here. Previous all-time high, price action pushes up into it, fights just at it or right under it, getting rejected, and pushed up. Now, how do you see this correlated with the dollar index? The strength of the dollar. This parabolic move also correlated with the declining power of the US dollar. So this decline also shows huge risk coming into the market. So what we're doing right now, we have the support trend line. The dollar is testing it right as we speak, and we are right at the previous all-time high. Look at this, 1,204 days. 1,204 days. We are at that mark. There's so many things lining up for in the very near future, that nice, exciting part of the market where everybody's waiting on that price to push to the upside. So let's not let the market run away with us and chop us out because we're so worried on every move. As we're seeing right here, we've had this drawn for some time. We have the basically low that we put in. We have this sort of intermedium 50% sort of mark on this descending broadening wedge. And the price right now is sitting here right. If we turn on the BitLab intelligence, we are sitting right here at, look at this, fighting right at that weekly VWAP, just like we are on Ethereum. The market is getting exciting, and we got some great charts to pull up here in a second. But we're going to be bringing on Crypto Danks. Met him down in Nashville. We had him on a couple weeks ago. We just decided we got to do some more stuff together because he's got some great things in this market. The way he's looking at it, what he's trading, he's got a great community as well. So we're going to be bringing him on. And before we dive into that, I do want to highlight this basically liquidation heat map. We have all of this liquidity just above us. And what were we talking about a second ago on Bitcoin? Bitcoin has this zone directly above us, which is 60,200. just above this previous range high, which would also be a break of both of these trend lines. And when we see this on the liquidation heat map, this is exactly where all that liquidity is. We don't have much below us. We still could make another scoop lower, but let's see what Mr. Man Crypto Danks has to say about it. How you doing, good sir? Welcome to the stream. Give me 1 second. I got to assign you, bring you in. There he is, the main man. How you doing, good sir?
What's up, big man? Can you hear me okay? Everything good?
Oh, you're perfect, baby.
Awesome, man. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Good to see everyone. Thanks for coming to the stream. You guys are, if you look at some of the stats on viewership on some of these on us crypto YouTubers, the stats are much lower than they were, say, in February, March, peak of the bull run, running up to the bull run, last bull run. So I guess the first thing I wanted to say is congratulations to those that are here in the trenches with Kelly every day. You are the ones that are going to reap the reward. I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything. Like, all the people that are, this is the way I see it. All right. It's better to be in crypto now and have bags, whether you have some powder on the side, which I always recommend, than to not be in at all, right? If you completely take your bags out and you're 100% out of the market, you're more at risk than being in the market, because what do we know about crypto? We know that it can move sideways, dump 10, 20, 30%. It also can pump 10, 20, 30, 100, 200% in a few days. And you might wake up, like, imagine if I didn't have some of my bag, I'm about 50-50 powder and stable and bags, right? But if I don't have those bags and I wake up today and Bitcoin's at 67K, what the hell do I do? So congratulations to those that are in the trenches on a daily basis, because I think that you are going to be the ones that really benefit the most.
I couldn't agree more with that. K-Jam says, set the time on the microwave. It's killing me, bro. He's watching it flash in the background. But you know what that flash is?
Shit.
No, that flash is a reminder. That flash is a reminder to, as you just said, stay in this market, keep your head down, pick the moves. And I think that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're okay with it, let's look at some of the charts you're looking at, any setups. Just so everybody knows, Crypto Danks is not only a wonderful guy. We met in Nashville, but he's also an excellent trader. He's got his own community as well. And we just decided to coordinate and do some things together and share some views to each other's channels, and also setups and looks at what's going on. He's been killing it on CoinW. So let's take a peek at what you got going on.
Absolutely, man. So usually when I'm showing setups, I'll start with Bitcoin. I like to start with as fresh of chart as possible, actually. So especially, I have a trade academy, much like yourself. I'll just try to start with a pretty bare bones thing here, right? So this is the weekly chart, Bitcoin against the dollar, all right? Now, one thing that, and we talked about it the last time I was on your show, is some bearish sentiment. Obviously, that's derived a lot from seeing these lower highs, right? So when you have a trend that's showing lower lows, lower highs, people tend to get pretty bearish, right? There's a couple things, though, that give me some hope. One thing, especially on the weekly chart, it's really nice to see a golden cross, right? Golden cross on the 55 and the 200-day moving average. That's going to be pushing us up. So the moving average, if you don't know what it is, it takes, the 21 is the red. So it's 21 periods or 21 candlesticks. And what it does is it takes the price action over 21 candlesticks and it kind of smooths it out and gives it a direct trajectory. The blue on mine is 55. A lot of stock traders use 21, 50, 200. I use 21, 55, 200. So the 55 weeks of candlestick action, 200 weeks of candlestick action. So when you have the 55 crossing under and moving up over the 200, this is very bullish on the weekly, right? But as you can see, it's very clear that we are in some type of downward trajectory, all right? Some downward channel, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we pumped a lot. You have to imagine we pumped a lot over the last, year or so. If we did take a look here, so let's just call it from the beginning of last year, so call it a year and a half. I mean, to the point, to all time, or to the highs that we've experienced, 350%, right? That's a lot when we see stuff like that. We've pulled back, we're at 260%. So that's one thing. Another one I could say that we see is a type of bull flag, if you will. I mean, if I take this away, then you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Now, a lot of people would say this is very bullish as well because we're sitting on support, okay? And typically in a bull flag scenario, you're going to get a breakout about 70 to 80% in if you're going to have that, or you're going to end up breaking down. Now, one thing I'll say, and I'll stay on the weekly for this, is another thing is the fixed range profile indicator. This is one of my favorite tools. I'll just pull it from the last pump all the way down. And I did mention this on the last stream. We're in the value area low. We're a little bit below it, but we're still on major support. Well, how do I know this is major support? Well, let's take a look. If we look across, we've used it as resistance at these highs before, and we've bounced off of it at support as well. So to me, this is a major all-time high support level. If I break down the daily, things change a little bit. And this is where people start to get bearish. Remember when I said we had that golden cross on the weekly? Well, we have the opposite on the daily that happened, I think, on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, which can be pretty bearish, but only time will tell. If you don't mind, Kelly, I'll go a little longer. I'm going to open up the rest of what I've got here. We'll go back to the weekly. Now, on the Market Cipher B, I know you use that and your viewers might be familiar with it as well. The money flow and the momentum has been bullish for quite some time, all right? We did have some bearishness back here in the end of 2022, but for the better part of 23 and also 2024, of course, bullish. Now, again, though, we are starting to form a bearish momentum wave here, and the money flow is starting to leak out. The RSI, Relative Strength Index, moving from overbought, which would be over 70, close to 80, it looks like, over 80 actually. Yeah, 85-ish. Where are we at? Yeah, that's pretty high on the overbought scale, right? Moving down, and we've been using this moving average as resistance. A lot of times what happens is we use these charts, the candles or the lines or whatever it is, we'll use as moving averages as support, resistance, and give you kind of a direction of where we're headed. Again, on the weekly, on the MACD, one thing that we had, another death cross though, right? When we have the death cross here, moving on the MACD, and we're forming a lot of bearish momentum, but we got this light pink here. So a lot of mixed signals on Bitcoin on the daily and the weekly. The daily, when I bring this up again, we just don't have a clear indication. One of my reps from CoinW, I trade a lot on there, and he called me this morning, like, he's in like Dubai, right? He calls me, he's like, hey bro, like, how come you're not trading? I'm like, dude, like, are you trading? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, at these types of times, I'd rather kind of just sit on my cash, sit on the sidelines, and de-risk a little bit, because I want to get a clear indication of where we're going. When we have all of these mixed indications, it's really tough for me to just jump in and start making leverage trades and buying bags and stuff like that. I'd rather have cash on the sidelines, wait for a dip. If the dip doesn't come and we start moving up and it's clear, then I don't mind buying a little bit higher, because I'm in the business of protecting my assets. I'm in the business of protecting my money, right? It's hard-earned money. I spent a long time in this market trying to build that bag, and I'm not going to lose it just to a 50% downturn and then hope to everything comes back up. I am a defensive player, all right? I think about it as football or basketball. I'm always on the defense, right? I'm not offensive throwing Hail Marys. That's not how I play this game. I make sure that when I'm in the game, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to win. So for now, looking at Bitcoin, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I can open up the Bitcoin dominance. We are moving up over 57%, and we've been kind of hitting that on the daily since, early August, it looks like. And that's pretty high, I've been going for a while. I don't know if you want me to continue on. It's up to you. If you wanted to pitch in on what I was saying, or
No, I mean I agree with everything that you said. I think that you said something that everybody needs to hear. Everybody thinks trading is, or even being in a market is about how do I make money, and it's actually the focus should be how do I protect my capital, and if there is opportunity, how do I take that opportunity while still having protecting capital in mind, right? Which is a risk management. But yeah, I'd love you to pull up the Ethereum chart as well. I mean, that was excellent, TA. And I did see you all. A few people asked where you can find Crypto Danks on Twitter. It's right here. Oh, sorry, right here at Crypto Danks DANKS. Crypto Danks
yeah.
X. And the link is also directly below in the description. You can just click on the link to make sure you're going to the right person.
You can also find me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I started it probably in October, September of last year, and I do a lot more macro stuff, some altcoin stuff, and I've been veering more towards technical analysis as well as I really enjoy doing it. As you can see, it's just a passion. I've been doing TA. A little background on myself. When I was 15 years old, when we first had internet, and I'm sure you remember, Kelly, the AOL and all that stuff. I was on. They had forex.com back then. I don't know if it was the same operators as it is now, but back then you needed $100,000 to even open an account. This is 20 years ago. And but my dad, he kind of helped me figure out a dummy account, and I had been reading charts since I was in at 15, in high school. So this is something that's just kind of followed me along. I'm not like some master trader, master TA guy. Like, I've just been around it a long time, and when you see this for so many years, it starts to really click and make sense. A lot of people, they're in crypto and they don't understand technical analysis and what they're looking at. They just see ups and downs, when I see this beautiful picture of psychology, right? Because crypto is psychology. The chart, okay, let's really think about it, right? Like, if I open this all the way up, what do you see here, right? What I see, okay, what a lot of people would see is ups and downs. I see emotions, right? I see logic. I see personality. This is a psychological thing here. All of this stuff is not just numbers, it's numbers derived from people, right? And people are what? Well, we're mammals. We have human, emotion, right? That drives the market. No matter you're on Wall Street and you're this OG trader, like, still people make mistakes. They overbuy, they oversell, they get out when they shouldn't, they get in when they shouldn't. So I see opportunity, I see emotion, I see personality. There's so much to the charts that people might not account for, So when I'm looking at the ETH chart and I see some similarity, this downward trend here, but we are again at a major support level on the Ethereum chart. And I usually will just, if you use TradingView, I use the horizontal line, and you can also click the star button over here and it'll start building like some of the stuff you use the most. So I use that a lot. And then I'll just come and I'll put a support line, and I'll just actually go, like, a lot of times you can put a line wherever you're at just to see what's going on with the rest of the chart. So how do I know this is a support level? All right, we're at the blue, it'll come up on the side. So 2,566 is our major support. I might be off a little bit off, and it looks pretty close. How do I know it's a support level? I'll go ahead and show you. So one thing you have here is that you have the chart had broken and kind of did a fake out, but it did use it as resistance here. Resistance is the ceiling, right? I look at support and resistance as glass floors and glass ceilings, all right? Eventually, you're going to break through one of them. If you beat on the floor or if you beat on the ceiling enough times, that thing is going to bust open and shatter, and you're going to head in that direction, right? I'm not saying that like it takes a lot, right? It can take a lot, it could take a little bit. It depends on the amount of times that you're beating on that roof, on that ceiling or that floor, or the amount of pressure. It could take 1,000 times with a little bit of pressure or volume, or it could take one time with a bunch of volume, right? So we don't know where we're going to head until the money starts really coming into the asset. So let's take a look here and see how else. So we've used it as support. We kind of broke back up and bounced off the floor. We've used it as resistance here, meaning we've tried to beat on that ceiling a few times. And this time the volume kind of started to die out and we fell down. But what happened, right? So if we look, the volume, when we broke through and we came up this way, okay, compared to here, right? So the volume here was a little bit lower, right? But if we come up to this area, say we're down here, okay, this is pretty low. But if I go and I take my horizontal line down here and I see where we broke out at, we were significantly higher, right? The volume had broken right around this area. So we had about a third more volume, which is a lot of money in Ethereum in volume. So where else do we have it? We've got it all in the last bull run, right? We've broken through it. We tested it here, tested it there, support here, support there. So this is a clear indication to me of being a very important level for Ethereum. Of course, we broke through when Bitcoin, I think this is like the fourth or the fifth, probably, yeah. So, but again, this is the daily chart. What do we have? We've got a death cross, right? It's heading down. Now, what can happen is we end up seeing this kind of blue line go like this. Oops, oh shoot, sorry guys. So we see the blue line, the 55 MA kind of moving like this. The 200 could move, if we move bearish, right? Then the chart could start using this as resistance and push down to another support level. There's all kinds of support levels in between, not just this, but if we ended up down somewhere, you know, and you can use the Fibonacci to find other levels too, but we've got one here. I mean, we've got stuff here. So there's lots of little stopping points along the way if we were to head down, and also the same thing as moving up, right? So let's take the, let me do this. Let me kind of clear all this up here. And I'll put my support back just in case. And then we're going to use the fixed range again. It's my favorite tool, I'll be honest. And we're going to just see where we are. Okay, so this is the thing with Ethereum and the fixed range volume profile indicator. This indicator, and it's free for anyone that needs it or wants to use it on, excuse me, let me get some water here. It's free on TradingView. I don't know if you need a paid account or not, but either way, you should definitely be trying to use this because it tells you the, see, this is volume by time down here. As you can see, like March, April, May, June, time, right? This is volume by price. So think of it as an XY axis, price versus time, all right? So what happens when you have, and let me maybe break it down to the 8 hour, might be a little bit better to see that. So how did we end up just shooting down here? And then why did we get stuck down here? And I'll tell you exactly why, and what I think at least. There's no exact science in TA, right? It's all, like I said, it's emotion and stuff like that. There's nothing exact that I can say 100% this is going to happen and this is why, but this is my best assumption, right? When you have gaps in the fixed range volume profile indicator like here, okay? Let me see, sorry, like in here, compared to here, like let's really look at it, right? Look at how high the volume is in here on price action, and also in here and a little bit here, there's a little gap here, right? So then let me just kind of put a line like right here just for, you know, just to see where we're at. So what happens when there's very low volume on price action are a couple things. One, you can see how we wick down into this areas, right? We wick down and we get shoved back up all in here, and then we end up shooting down. The reason why is because in order to consolidate and keep price in a certain level, you need price volume, okay? Now, there's no price volume here. So what happens is the price comes down, there's no buys or sells to keep pushing it down. And what happens is it gets sucked back into the value area. Well, what's the value area? The value area is in between these two blue lines. If I draw it across from here, this is the value area, right? So we're significantly in the value area low. So why are we stuck down here? There's just not enough volume to push us up through. We've tried one time, two times to kind of get in that area, but we wicked back down because there's not enough buying pressure to push us through the gap and back into the value area with Ethereum. So also you can see down here, the volume has been very low for the most part. We have some spikes, some bearish spikes here and here, but we need some pretty significant volume to push through here and get back into the value area over $2,900, preferably over 3K. But also, you got to remember this too. We're in a lot of bearish sentiment times. All right. When you like, for me, I'm crypto 24/7. I went to bed at 2:30 a.m. I woke up at 6 a.m. I'm on the chart. Like, I'm in crypto, and I'm sure a lot of you are as well. But most people that are in the world are not familiar with crypto or the volatility. So you've seen the stock market rise. Okay. You've seen gold rise. You've seen crypto go into a slump and go sideways, dip, go up, side, but we haven't had much bullish. I think also that people, a lot of money from retail, boomers, stuff like that, have been moving their money back into stocks, back into gold. They might leave some into crypto. That's a smart thing to do. However, you have a lot of, these indications like gold again breaking out. If I pulled it up, let me see real quick what gold is looking like. Let's just see gold USDT. Here, let's do X. I'm always like XAUT because I'm on crypto. So let's just do XAUT USD. So gold at 2508. I mean, just in the last couple of months, we've moved significantly. Just since, February, we've gone up. This is a lot for gold, guys. This is a lot for gold. You're talking 26% in the last 6 months. That's a lot of market cap. Remember, gold is 20 times higher of a market cap. I think it's like $20 trillion market cap. Let me see if I can find the market cap thing on here. Where does it show?
I think
Does
it's
it
I think it's
show?
somewhere in the like 12 to 13 trillion range, but that's 26%. That's $2.5 trillion that have come into
Yeah,
that class.
absolutely. So I mean that's kind of what I think right now. Another, there's so many different things. Now China comes out. We hear yesterday China's going to unban crypto. Well, what is that good for us? Is that bad for us? I remember last cycle, I think India, China were unbanning stuff. So, there's a lot of mixed things going on here. And when I look at the charts, again, I get mixed indications of what's going on. But one clear thing is people have been de-risking and going into less volatile assets. And the stock market, I mean, if you want to get exposure to the stock market and not risk a downfall of 30%, I understand. Like, but I'm about that crypto life. I'm about the high risk, high reward, and I don't believe that we're gonna have this like ultimate crash down in Bitcoin or major altcoins in general. So for me, like I said before, I'm a certified bull. I know I see a lot of bearish sentiment, but these are times to accumulate. Like I said before, I see opportunity and I see things that are going to probably people say like, man, you're luck. Like a year from now, God willing, everything goes well for us. A year from now, the people that got out and you stayed in, they're going to call you lucky when you're going to look at them and say, no, it wasn't luck. It was persistence. And it was just paying attention to, what I believe in. Right. So just pay attention to the indications, keep, studying, learning, and upping your knowledge, because this is when you start seeing the charts like Kelly does, like I do, it makes things a lot more comfortable for you instead of like having to listen to the news or to some guy like on Twitter blasting off about, oh, like the bear run or the bull run's over or the bear market is whatever. One thing I wanted to point out, and I'll shut up here now. So
No, I'm
one thing I
loving it.
wanted to point out. Okay, cool. I'm glad. So when I look back, let me see, when was it? Oh yeah. So I drew. So people are saying this is the longest time in history of crypto that we've gone so boring and bearish. I mean, if we just look at this, from June of 2019 all the way to July of 2020, which is how long? That's over a year. We just went like we pumped, had like some fake rally over here. You know, this is the daily chart, pumped up, and then we just like literally moved down and sideways for a year before we had anything crazy go on, right? So you got to remember, like, people are just spouting off, and if you're listening to a bunch of random people and they're just saying all this stuff, like, it's better to be knowledgeable and take pieces from what everybody says, even from me, from Kelly, from anybody. Like, you should be taking pieces of what we say and fit it into your own narrative so you can understand it to the best of your ability.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now, it's all about, as you said, patience and persistence. We're going to be looking back at this time, and so many people are going to say, oh, you got lucky. Every one of you that's in this market right now, you know, if you're able to hold on through this, if you're looking at these charts on a daily basis, sometimes it feels near, it's like, can I hold on? I mean, even I get my emotions shooken up sometimes, but you know, the market is going to be, it's going to be obvious in hindsight in the coming months, that was a great time to be buying or holding or just stepping away from the chart. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing at all. With that being said, yeah, okay, this is great. You got the crypto bubbles up. Do you have any altcoins that you've been paying attention to? I know John Dalton, who's one of our team members in BitLab Academy, he's in the process right now of smashing a phantom trade. Do you have anything that you've been looking at? Any altcoins that you're like, man, when this rips, or even current setups you might be looking to trade, or are you not trading at all right now?
I've been on the sidelines as far as trading for about the last week or so. I did kind of, we had and I'll talk about alts in just a second. I do have some here that I look for futures. So for futures or perpetual trading derivatives, these are the coins that I trade the most. I really, really like trading Solana. The reason why is because it has deep liquidity, which means you don't get wrecked on your orders when you try to buy or sell on higher leverage, like 5x, 10x leverage. But also it moves like a true altcoin, right? It moves like with volatility, which I really enjoy, right? Something else, I was investing into ton, okay, before I did a deeper analysis. But I might caution you, and this is not financial advice, if you go to the Tons Rich list, 92% of the asset is held in the top 100 wallets, right? So I got out of that, and I have just been focusing on futures on that. My biggest bag right now is Kaspa. I'm a huge Kaspa fan. If you don't know what Kaspa is, I can tell you that. Here, we can go, and I'll just show you on CoinMarketCap. So Kaspa, not too long ago, I don't even think it was in the top 100. It was under a billion market cap. I mean, if we look at this all-time chart, right? If I open up the market cap, look at this all-time chart. This is something I really, really like. If you're looking for an altcoin that can do 5, 10x, potentially in the bull run or in the future, I am definitely eyeing Kaspa because, I believe in the technology. It's a proof of work, layer one, claiming to solve the trilemma, scalability, security, so all of these things that make Kaspa great. And this is not on this is the only top 25, I think, that's not a tier one exchange. It has every exchange except for like KuCoin, except for Coinbase, Binance, the big dogs. But Kraken did put it on their roadmap, and I think it's going to explode there. They also have something called KRC20, which are like inscriptions, kind of like Bitcoin has, ordinals. It's similar, but I am much more interested in actual smart contracts for Kaspa when that happens as well. The reason why this is so special and why this has gained a lot of hype, and a lot of you have probably heard about it, is just because of the finality time, right? They're looking at 10 blocks per second, and it's a DAG. So instead of like a blockchain would be a linear one by one, right? One block solved after another. The DAG is kind of like a web, and it pulls from orphan blocks and parent blocks, and then it all meets again. And it's very fast, So at this time, I've been investing in this since 2 cents, 2.5, up to 5, even 9, 10 cents. I bought some recently. But again, you know, it's done huge numbers, 85,000% in the last, you know, of its lifetime. I think something else, let me go back to the chart here. Aave is something I had recently gotten into, and it actually kind of got to me through futures because I noticed its volatility and I hit a couple of good trades, not gonna lie. And when you do that, when you hit some really nice trades, it brings you back, right? It keeps bringing you back. So Aave is something I've been paying attention to. One thing though, an altcoin that's been around for a while. I did buy some, and then I took a 25% profit on a spot trade. Is Helium. All right. Now, a lot of people might say, "Oh, Helium, whatever." I mean, the thing is this: fact is, at just a $1 billion market cap, it's gone up over a 2x, like 2.5x since like last month or 2 months, a month ago. It was $3 or something like that. So yeah, let me see what we have here recently. So 280, $3, you know, something like that, not too long ago. That was July 5th. It was like a month and a half ago, right? Now, one thing I'll caution you, excuse me, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something. How is it possible, right? This is one thing you have to be careful of. How is it possible that in the last month, while everything is going sideways, down, acting funny, how is this 70% increase? This is my hypothesis. Again, you know, I think that what happens is a lot of times these projects that have deep pockets, what they'll do is they have something called market makers, right? These market makers inject liquidity to either keep a price either moving up, down, keep it in a certain range. They can do whatever they want. If they have money, they will do whatever they want. They want to pump the price and cause FOMO. That is what can happen. So what happened here is you saw on the daily, we actually we started to pull back. We had a pump, all right, and I believe this was the beginning of leverage of the market makers pushing liquidity into the asset. This is Helium HNT, and then it pulled back and they pushed up again, all right, and then it pulled back. Now what I think happened here is this was FOMO from retail. So this last little and I'm just speculating, like this is not 100%, but I say this last 25% or so was retail, and I think the majority of the move was most likely, you know, probably, I mean, think about it. Geez, like 145% since July. I mean, it's been barely a month, right? So you have to pay attention to these types of things, and then maybe that presents itself with a short opportunity. One thing that I saw here and why I got in is because of this. You know, there's a couple indications. I traded it twice, but the last one I got in here and I rode this last retail wave up. But when I'm looking at the market cipher B, there's a strategy on this indicator that's extremely strong. It's called the blue wave strategy. Kelly, are you familiar with the blue wave strategy?
Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. So, um, what the blue wave strategy is, these waves are actually blue. So I change them for my own liking. You can change indicators to whatever you want. You have what's called an anchor wave, which is deep below the lines and the dotted line here. And then you have what's called a trigger wave, which is significantly shorter. It's a three-piece set, right? Because you need the money flow moving in the direction that you want the asset to go in, bullish, right? If it's bearish, you want it to go down, you want the opposite. So we've got money flowing back into the asset. You've got an anchor wave and you got a trigger wave. Well, it's almost fail proof. You can almost count on it every single time. That last run up, it did 82%. We had a smaller trigger wave here, double trigger, and then we started turning green. If you got in on this one, again, if you were to close out your trade there, you would have been able to get another 80%. The reason why I like this token or token or coin or whatnot is because they've put in a lot of work. One of the founders was from Napster back in the day. If you're older like us, you might know Napster was like the first peer-to-peer music trading, you know, whatever. You could download music and pirate stuff. So back before the Pirate Bay. But another thing is they haven't partnered with Apple. I was corrected on X, so my apologies if you're watching that person. They didn't partner with Apple, but they're on every iPhone's Apple store as a wallet, and then they also offer hotspots and stuff like that. And they have over 1 million. So if you looked at their hotspot all over the world, people are running these 5G hotspots, and you can get mobile data, mobile service 5G for just $20 a month directly from the iPhone. So I think that new, addition to Helium will push the price. I'm hardly in this. I'm not trying to pump my bags. I really don't care if you get in it or not. But this is something I like to try to tell people. You want to look for other things besides price action. When I go and when I just look at, Helium, Apple Store, you can even see I looked for it recently, Helium, Apple Store, and it'll show like the Helium wallet, Apple Store, the Helium hotspot on the App Store, and then you can see like reviews and stuff. So these are the things that I look for. And I'll kind of finish with this on this part is that this is the thing. A lot of people from previous bull runs, they're like, man, like everything's going to go up. The bull run's going to be effing crazy. Like yada, yada, yada. Okay. Let's get a reality check here. The last bull run, what do we have? Maybe 25,000, 50,000, maybe 100,000 coins at most. Okay. Now we've got millions of tokens that have been created on Solana, on Ethereum, on Binance. So there's so much liquidity spread out along all of these, forgive me, shit coins that really aren't going to see the light of day in the future, gaming coins that don't, AI stuff. There's so many, especially on the meme front, that the money is spread out all over the place there. All right. So what I think and what I've been pivoting towards are projects that have a root in the crypto industry with a larger community, with sustainability over a certain market cap. I prefer to see over 100 million, 200 million, and then doing the work to move into the next phase of Web3, right? That's what I'm looking for. So something like Helium, to me, they've been putting in work for quite some time. I think the project was made in the mid 2010s, 2014 possibly, and they launched on the blockchain in like 2019, and they've been putting in a lot of work. Another thing I see here with Helium is that it's higher price average from the previous bull run. This was averaging 27, $1.20, under $1. Then we started hitting over $1, close to $2, and then we started moving up, which is a bullish indication that this isn't going to just lay flat and just, so I look also what happened before the bull run of last one, what happened during the bear market. Are we higher? Are we lower than previous bear bull run? There's a lot of things to look for in altcoins,
Yeah.
So
Speaking of that, one coin it always, maybe it's just because of the bubble we're in the West, but I don't really see that many people talk about BNB very often. Do you ever look at the
good
BNB
point.
chart? And then also, we got about 7 or so minutes left. Let's look at BNB, and then I saw somebody post several different people ask about ICP, so we'll look at those two, and then wrap it. By the
Yeah,
way, everybody, make
absolutely.
sure you're hitting that like button. You're hitting subscribe, dinging the bell, and of course, heading over to Crypto Danks page right here at Crypto Danks X. The link is right below in the description as well. I do also want to shout out before we continue on. We do have the CoinW live trading sessions that are going to be kicking off here in a matter of days. I got Morel's going to be coming in today. We're talking about the rollout of that. So make sure you're signing up with CoinW. The link is pinned in the top of the description. And we've gotten great response from you all. I talked CoinW into basically extending that great deal that we have going on there. And if you deposit $100, you get $100 free. You deposit 200, you get 200. All the way up to depositing 3,000, you can get $1,000 for free. And of course, if you want to go higher, you can do that as well. But signing up here will get you free access to those live trading sessions. That link is pinned in the top of the comments in the live chat, but I'll also post it right here. If you retweet this tweet I'll be doing a giveaway this week and another giveaway next week, randomly drawing names. You have to retweet this, but then also sign up with us at CoinW. We're going to be doing all this live trading together. I'm going to be able to see your charts. You're going to see my charts. We're going to make sure that you stay on the right side of these trends.
Definitely get on CoinW. I trade there as well. I like the spread. I've even closed a trade like in the negative, and I think because of the way the spread worked out, I ended up a little positive, which is kind of funny. When it's a newer exchange, it's non-KYC. I would say because Mexi, a lot of us were using Mexi with the VPN and stuff. I use CoinW with or without a VPN as a US citizen, and it hasn't been an issue. Maybe that'll change down the road. But when you're trading on newer exchanges, just be careful. If you're trading with a lot of money, you want to make sure that you're trading higher liquid markets like Ethereum, BNB, Bitcoin, of course, Solana. And then if you're going lower amounts, a couple $100, 5-10x leverage, you can get into whatever, but
Well,
definitely.
CoinW's been around since 2017, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. It has been around for a while. Well, 2017. Yeah, no, okay, that's true. My apologies. I think it's just because it's been brought to light recently because of them pushing out, trying to get these Mexi clients and stuff like that. But they actually have a really nice user interface on the spot. They have also what's called leverage tokens, right? Where you can spot margin tokens. So like, say you want to go on BNB or on Bitcoin, and you can do a 3x spot leverage trade without getting liquidated. So you can buy it. If you want it to go up, you can long it and you will never get liquidated, which is really cool. It's great for people to get exposure to futures without being in futures and getting risk of liquidation.
Yeah.
BNB is a sleeper. I got to be honest with you. I think that they've performed so well, over the years, especially, after just in general. I mean, I like BNB a lot. I've been trying to catch it under 500 a few times, picked up a little bit here and there. I do have a small bag. But as we break this down again, let's see the weekly first. What do I see on the weekly? So on the weekly, yeah, I mean, a lot of this, it's so funny. Like in crypto, when Bitcoin is doing things, it seems like everything follows Bitcoin. And that's true for the most part until we start getting into more of an alt season and then they start doing their own thing. One thing I will say that I really like is that it's very bullish. The weekly money flow is actually pouring in and getting thicker, it looks like to me. We might have a small bearish momentum wave, which could be considered a trigger wave. We have a little anchor wave here, money flowing in. If this becomes pretty small, it might be a nice upward trajectory. And the MACD also kind of turning slightly bullish on the weekly. Let's look at the daily here. So potential death cross here, moving down higher lows, lower highs. But we've been trending sideways, actually, not too bad, to be honest. So let's see where we are on the fixed range. Fixed range, up from the last pump. Boom. Oh, you know what? Because I'm on the market cap thing, it won't let me do it. Let me try this one. ICP, there's some diehard ICP fans out there, the technology especially. So BNB trending in this bottom value area again. But what's nice is we have pretty good volume on the price action to move us and kind of consolidate until we get a upward trend. What I look like to me is that the moving average kind of wants to curve up. Now, what I would like to see is the daily chart close. What do we got? 7.5 hours left. If we can close at or above this 55 moving average and then go bullish again, that would be a significant bullish sign for me, clearing and using the 55 MA as support. So if we can move up and then move up again and then kind of bounce and potentially move up, it's okay if we come back down a little bit. What else do I see? On the RSI, we're looking bullish. we're using the moving average and the relative strength index from oversold to neutral and moving up. All right, I like that. The MACD, same thing, pretty bullish and a steady incline, right? One thing I like to look for are any type of divergences, which I don't think I see any at the moment. If you see one, let me know. But yeah, I mean, for now, this is the thing. BNB has held strong. I don't see BNB going down very far. If it does get hit, I mean, altcoins obviously can get hit pretty hard, but what was this? It went to 627 and then ended up at 300. That was like bull run to bear market. So, I mean, I think this has a very strong opportunity to move up at 80 billion market cap. Binance chain has done a lot of good for the industry, right? I know a lot of eyes are on Solana. I mean, BNB really isn't that much more expensive to transact. I think it's, maybe 20 cents or 30 cents or something to buy, send, swap, whatever it is. And they have all kinds of great tokens, gaming, AI. One of my biggest AI plays this year was on BNB, AI tech. I made some good money on that early in the year. So I like BNB as well. So let's see, we're at also a fully circulating supply. So you don't have to worry about, are there going to be vesting unlocks coming? Are we going to get dumped from from insiders, whatever it might be, or any of that stuff. So personally, this is something that I think I might look in the future and say, God, why didn't I buy this at 500 when it's like 2,500, $3,000 in like 5 years? I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing. Let's check out ICP. I'll be honest, this isn't one that I spend as much time on. However, a buddy of mine, House of Crypto, Peter, he was telling me to get into ICP back not too long ago. I think it did some pretty nice gains. Let me see the yearly chart. Yeah, it was around this time, right in the beginning of the year. It looked like, I think he was telling me. He said they're due for a nice gain. So what do we have? We have 100% over the year. So let's take a look. Yeah, BNB looking pretty bullish. I would say this is more bullish than I've seen on majority of other charts so far. I just would say we have some bearish momentum and the volume, of course, is kind of low. But let's check out ICP. SDT. When you're looking, if you don't know, if you're looking, you'll just put in ICP and then, USDT. And if you want futures, you just put .p for perpetual futures. They are two different charts. All right. Just keep that in mind. I usually go to Binance. It gives me a pretty nice chart for the most part. We're on the daily, right? So let's see here. Yeah, we've had a lot of volatility, moved up. Yeah, it looked like, let's see, since September. Well, let's go from the previous year. So where are we at? July, August. So we're up 78% from last year. We did a total of 420%. Again, though, daily chart bringing this death cross. I will say, if we can continue this upward trend, we do have a little pip squeak of a little bullish momentum. Okay, I will give hope there. And oh, this is nice to see. We have a golden cross on the MACD. That's looking good. When you're on the daily chart and you start seeing these bullish indications, I would say the daily is a really nice time frame to get an idea of where we're headed. So what we would need is that MACD to start pushing up bigger green wicks, okay? We would need this RSI to bounce up as well. We have moved from oversold up to being almost neutral. It kind of wants to pull down, but it might keep going up. We have money flow bearish. Okay, we've been pretty bearish since the last run up. All this momentum, money flow. However, this can't last forever, right? And it looks to me, if we get closer, that we are starting to close and move towards a money flow bullish sign. So that's a potential. If you want to go to the 8 hour, you might see if we do have a little bullish. It's kind of choppy, right? I would expect, again, we have another death cross. I would expect probably another little bit of a pullback. before it moves up again. But if we do see again, let's just draw a line at where we're at, right? We're right here. What do we got? Do we have any support or resistance? Looks like we do. We bounced here a few times. We bounced a bunch here. All right. We broke through and shattered that glass with that volume. All right. We use it as resistance. So just because it's not being used as a floor, it also can be used as a ceiling, right? Well, we've used this as a ceiling many times. We had a fake out here and came back down. We've been using it as resistance here and it faked out, came back down. So we're at a pretty important level of support as well. I wouldn't say it's terrible if we break through and come back down a little bit more. One last thing is I'll throw the fixed range indicator on it just to get an idea. And I might have to go back a little more on this one. Let's go back just a little bit here and see where we're at. Let's see. So, yeah, okay. Volume on price has been, again, we're in the value area low and we're on support. This reminds me of what we were looking at on Bitcoin, right? We have some pretty decent volume, but not going to lie, most of the volume is up in the $12 to $14 range, right? This is called the point of control, all right? When you have the main area or the longest wick, right? If we went in here and looked at this, the longest little wick here would be the point of control. That's where most of the money wants to play at, right? So we need to find a way to get enough volume to push back up to the point of control and either consolidate or continue moving upward in that direction. But yeah, that's kind of a little breakdown. It looks somewhat bullish. I would say it wants to pull down, but it keeps going up anyways. And again, we have this bullish cross. We've got a lot of bullish MACD momentum. It's a little mixed bag. It's really hard to say. I'm sure you're in the same boat when everything is saying a lot of the same stuff, but that's what we've got, guys. One last token, I would say, I love Beam, the gaming Beam. That's my gaming selection of the bull cycle. Beam is a full ecosystem. The chart looks pretty nice. It did run up to about 4 cents or so. It's in the 500 million market cap range. It reached 2.5 billion at this point. So this might be something, if you're into gaming, you might want to check out as well. Just thought I'd throw that in there if anyone's looking for a gaming altcoin.
Man, it was so much alpha drop this session, man, and everybody that's tuned in, make sure you're heading over and giving Danks a follow. His information, let me find it again. It's right here at Crypto Danks, DANKSX, at Crypto Danks X, and he's got a link for his YouTube on here as well. Make sure you're checking him out. We're going to be having him on more often. I love always getting different people's points of view because I don't want to be the only person giving you guys direction on what's going on in this market. We need different, varied strategies as well as different lenses on the market. So hit the like, show some love to Danks right here. I appreciate you all tuning in. And remember, we got these live trading sessions that are going to be going live here, I think, around the end of this week. So make sure you're signing up with that link that is pinned in the top of the live chat. It's also directly below. It's the first line in the description you'll see to sign up there. Deposit some money, get some free money. It's all your money that you get to keep in your account. So Danks, is there anything else you want to say as we wrap out?
Man, I just appreciate you having me on. I love sharing whatever I can. Send me an email in my descriptions. You can see that there on YouTube or whatever. I'm more than happy to help answer any questions. And bro, love to have you on the channel as well. Come in the community. Let's do some trading stuff together. And again, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure. And hope all of you have a good week and stay bullish, my friends.
I agree with all that. Now, everybody, and I'm happy to come on your show anytime. I just dropped a link in there as well. We're all going to head over to Taco now over at DGen Alpha. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Remember, these trades are just setting up. Right now is the time to not let yourself get chopped out of this market. Allow yourself to find buying opportunities because it's going to be up before you can believe it. And when you look back at these prices, you're gonna kick yourself for not taking advantage of what's going on in this market. But that's all we got for today, everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and thank you again, Crypto Danks in the house. Big love to you. Adios.
Hey, thanks, G.